Hello and welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene podcast. This podcast is all about how to attain healthier skin. You may be struggling with a skin condition such as psoriasis or eczema or acne, or perhaps a condition that causes the skin to become unhealthy, such as PCOS or irritable bowel or Crohn's disease. Regardless of what your condition is, healthy skin is attained by having a healthy body. So my mission is about bringing a huge array of experts to your attention in various areas of health. I hope you find this information knowledgeable and insightful and helpful for your specific journey in having better health. Remember to always connect with us through Facebook at Dr. Irene Prantelos, Psoriasis and Healthy Skin. You can email me at info@salubre.com.au. I hope you enjoy the show, and please feel free to give us any sort of insight into what you feel you need to hear in future episodes. Hello and welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene. Today is part 2 with my interview with Sistermixin. Last time we ran out of time and there was so much more to talk about, so we thought let's do a part 2 and we can touch on a lot of things that can help you choose food and various other things that will help you have a preservative-free life. So Sistermixin is a sister duo who are passionate about helping families and everyone really to have preservative-free life, but also more so to understand how these preservatives impact your health. Now, part 1 was all about Jo's daughter's story with preservatives and her behaviour and identifying the impact that had on her health. Whereas today we're all talking about label reading and understanding what these ingredients mean and what it is to cook from scratch perhaps, or what to look out for and avoid when cooking at home. So welcome, Jo and Tracy.
Thank you. Thanks for having us back.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. It's really important, I think, for everyone to understand this sort of information, because I think, as you mentioned last time, you think you're cooking from scratch, but you actually aren't, because you're using various tomato sauces or other sauces that are manufactured in factories, and obviously they want to enhance taste and preserve the product for it could be a couple of years, whereas you make something on your own at home, you probably wouldn't get more than 3 days out of it. So I want to talk about, Tracy, you mentioned about the labels and how people should read them. What sort of insight do you have with label reading?
Well, basically, I think most people are aware, but I could be wrong, that when they write ingredients labels on the back of a packet, they start in order of the biggest ingredient and then it weeds down to the smallest ingredient. So that's the first thing when you're looking at ingredients label, like the listings, is the first ingredient on there will be the biggest component of that thing, whatever it is. Let's say biscuits, for example. So if sugar happens to be the first ingredient, then that biscuit is composed of the majority thing in that ingredients listing is sugar. And then it will go down the listing to, a herb or a spice or something along those lines as the smallest quantity. So it's really important to understand that for starters, so that you can really get a grasp of, oh, wow, look at that. The first ingredient is sugar.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be an issue there straight away. But then, you can look through, and then it's just understanding that, there are words and numbers and what each sort of thing means. And I guess that can be quite involved. When I look at ingredients, I often go, do you know what? There's things on here that I can't pronounce. So that's automatically a trigger. Yeah. And if there's a zillion ingredients on there for a packet of biscuits, I go, well, if I was to make biscuits at home, I might add milk, eggs, flour, butter, probably still sugar, maybe some chopped chips or something along those lines. But, it might have 6, maybe 7 at the most ingredients. And that's if I've added, a herb or not a herb into a biscuit, but, like some cinnamon or, something along those lines. You might have 6 or 7 ingredients, but I wouldn't have 30. And I've seen that many on a packet of biscuits at the supermarket. It is crazy.
And I think, like you said, I think that people get confused with the numbers, and I think we have this false sense of security where, you know, oh, it's going to be fine. Who would want to harm people? Who would want to harm their customer? You know, if I'm a customer of this brand and I buy their products religiously, who would want to harm me? And I think at the end of the day, our perception has to change to not necessarily I want to harm you, but it's all about increasing profits, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of the time, absolutely. And we had that just come up in our Additive Free Made Easy group. Is a lady she's fighting with her husband at the moment because he has that opinion. He's like, well, this stuff wouldn't be in food if it was there to harm us. Yeah. And Tracy made a really good point. She's like, well, you know, they still sell cigarettes over the counter. And it's, you know, it is the same thing. I mean, it is all about revenue and all about profit and all about shelf life. And it is all about how they market to us about that things need to be easier. Like that we're time poor and that we're busy mums and that, you know, we don't have time to be doing anything apart from buying packets, putting it in the trolley because, you know, that's what we're marketed to these days.
Yeah, that's actually really true. I never thought of that element as brainwashing from marketing, but it's so true. I even have that with patients when I say to them, okay, change your diet and do such and such. Oh, I don't have time. I'm so busy.
Yeah. But I mean, these companies spend millions of dollars on marketing. Yeah. And they're very clever at how they market to us and almost brainwash us to make us believe that we have to buy that product. Yeah. Like that's their job.
Yeah. I was going to say, they even market in such a way that the colours and, you know, like I said, they spend so many millions of dollars that, you know, you can pick up a packet and you're like, oh, that looks pretty and nice and it must be good for me because there's fruit on the front and there's, you know, a pretty picture and there's flash words that say vitamins and minerals and all of these things on these packets. Awesome. Pop that in my trolley. And it's total brainwashing because I can pretty much guarantee out of us that we are some of the busiest people on the planet. And we are both mums. We both work full time, probably work more than full time. We have husbands that work long hours. We both have children. We both have after school activities with the kids. You know, we've got everything else that every other mother in this country is facing.
Yep.
And then some. We run our own business. That's always in the back of our mind. We're always on our phones as we get told by our husbands. You know, like there's always something going on. So I really call BS on someone that says they're too busy because if we can do it, we are busy. Yeah. We are busy people. And we're busy in a good way. Like I'm not whinging because I absolutely love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. But if we can do it, and I can cook on a Saturday or a Sunday, or I can double my, you know, lasagna that I've made, or I can double my chicken. You know, if I'm cooking one chicken, I cook two. Like they fit in the oven together, put two in there, you know, and have one in the freezer for another night. Yeah. You know, there's so many quick meals that you can cook that literally take 15 or 20 minutes from start to finish. Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong. We still have a takeaway night every now and then, you know, once or twice. You know, every couple of months or something. And, you know, we still do things like that. But majority of the time, totally 100% we cook. And that's not saying you can't buy anything from the supermarket though either.
Yeah. I think you just have to be more aware that natural doesn't necessarily mean healthy. And don't believe what is on the packaging, because I guess that's all done to get you to choose their product over their competitors. And understanding that the more well, not necessarily numbers, but even ingredients, the more list of ingredients and where they're positioned on the label. I know my husband's very healthy. You know, he's always been to his fitness. He goes to the gym a lot. I wish I went that much. And I still would, you know, he'd pick up a packet. I'm like, why are you considering this? It's got sugar as a first ingredient. And he's like, so? And I go, but that means it's predominantly sugar. And he's like, oh, well, you're too fussy. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to put that in my house. And then and he does sneak in sometimes some biscuits. And I'm just like, I don't want our son to see that. And, you know, if you want to eat this stuff, you eat it outside of the home, because it's all about helping him understand it. I mean, he's only 2, so he's not going to be having the awareness of all these junk food around, but it's all about controlling his taste buds at this age. So,
I think it's okay to...
sorry, Joe, I'm just going to butt in because you shared a story recently with me that with your son Jacob that has been to McDonald's maybe never once, maybe, and he knows exactly what McDonald's is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's again marketing. It comes down to marketing. That's it, right? We were driving along the other day, and he went, "Oh, there's McDonald's," and I was like, "How do you even know what that is?" Honestly, I mean, Eva would know because we used to eat McDonald's when Eva was little. But yeah, Jake came into this additive-free world as a newborn. I don't know if we've ever. I don't know. I can't remember even talking about it. I can't remember going there with him. But marketing. It's all marketing.
Yeah.
Same with my husband goes to Bunnings a lot. I think it's his favourite place in the world. But we can be driving along and Jake will say, there's Bunnings. And again, it's the colours, it's the marketing, it's exactly, they just do everything so well. So well.
It's right to believe that what they're saying is the truth, and we're not allowed to believe anything different. And I think that's again, I call BS because we should know different. We're smart people. We're not a dumb generation. We're smart people, and we just get marketed to, and we get brainwashed into believing that we don't have time. Oh, they're telling us that constantly, and it's all the little things. It's on the radio. It's on the front of packets. It's in the TV. It's in the catalogs. It's written on everything. You get when you hear something so much, you just start to believe it.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah,
so
I just really
think if someone's going, okay, well, I guess I do use packaging or packaged ingredients. I'm saying packaged ingredients because you make a lasagna, you use the packet of lasagna, you maybe use the pasta sauce. Where do they go? What do they do? What's their, if they want to start changing this and improve their pantry and put things in there that are healthy for the family, where would they start? What would their first point of call be?
I would start. Sorry.
I was going to say the same thing, I'm sure. Just start reading the ingredients. We had the perfect image come up in our group only yesterday, or maybe this morning, yesterday I think it was, where she had a jar of passata and she said, is this okay? And in there was tomatoes was the first ingredient. I think it was 93%. Then, there was other ingredients, but in there was yeast extract. And yeast extract is a form of MSG. So that doesn't need to be in there. It's a bit of a flavour enhancer. Yeah. So just put that jar back and pick up another one and find one that just has ingredients that you would make at home. A passata needs to just have tomatoes. Yeah. Sugar was the second ingredient, actually. It was tomatoes, then sugar, then I think some spices, and then yeast extract. But it just needs to have tomatoes, maybe an onion, some spices, basil, oregano, something like that.
I've got something to say. I want to butt in. If you can't buy it in the supermarket, but yet it's on an ingredients list, you got to question that. So I can't go to the supermarket and buy yeast extract. It's not an ingredient. It's not. I don't go to the spice section and go, oh, I'll have some yeast extract, thanks.
Well, I didn't even know that was MSG because I don't have many packaged foods because of my own skin issues. So I have to have everything fresh. But I actually wouldn't have known that was MSG, to be honest. I would have gone, oh yeah, a bit of yeast for some reason. Don't know why you'd need it in a tomato sauce. You don't want to raise it, but yeah, never thought that was MSG. That's very sneaky.
It is really sneaky. And the other one is natural flavours. You'll see a lot written on packaged ingredients, the word natural flavours. Yeah. Again, I don't go to the spice section and go, oh, I'll have some natural flavours. You've got to question what are natural flavours. What is that ingredient? If you can't pick it up off the shelf and buy it yourself and add it to the food yourself, then start questioning that as well. So I can buy flour, of course. I can buy eggs. I can buy milk. Some of them might say skim milk powder. Well, I can buy that. I can buy I can buy tomatoes, all of these things that are written on ingredients labels. But if you see something and you go, I can't actually buy that, that must be made somewhere in a factory, or how do I get this ingredient? then start looking at that. And that's a really great way to raise your awareness and like, what is yeast extract? I've never seen that in the supermarket. Where do I buy yeast extract? What is that? Or what is natural flavours? What is it?
So,
We'd love to know.
On the whole sugar thing that you said, I can't have any sugar. So when I was pregnant, I was craving carbs, as maybe you both did. And I struggled to find like a cornflakes or something without sugar in it. And if it was pear extract, rice syrup, rice malt, I can't have any of that. Like anything that is processed in a way that gives you like a bit of a sugar fix, my skin starts getting itchy, and if I've done it long enough, it actually will start with a few spots. So that's the problem as well with buying these packaged stuff, because they do want to make sure that, and I was looking in organic stores too, so I was not looking in the supermarkets. I didn't even go to the supermarkets for cereal. I actually go to the organic store, and it was a huge area of cereal, and not one had sugar. It was all formulated to have some sweetness. And it's like, hey, if I want sweetness, I'll just add a teaspoon of sugar into my cereal, or honey, or whatever. You don't have to make it with that, because then you're totally ostracizing a bunch of people that can't have it. And being natural and in the organic store, I would have thought, hey, your target market is different to people that are going to the supermarket, and yet they still want to put the sugar in there. So it's one of those things, I think, not necessarily just preservatives, but looking at the sugar content as that's an inflammatory ingredient, and that can flare up a lot of things, behaviors and skin and all sorts of stuff too. So that cuts me out from a lot of packaged things too.
Absolutely. It is all there to mimic the taste. And, sugar's highly addictive as well. Like if we can get someone to love our product by making it really sweet and yummy and delicious and addictive, then people are going to buy that over and over again. And I think that's what it does to a lot of children as well. We're not completely anti-sugar. Like I still have raw sugar in my cupboard, and I made a shortbread yesterday that obviously has sugar in it and sugar sprinkled over the top. But it is a treat. That's just a treat kind of thing. It's not an everyday occurrence to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, dessert, supper, because that's when our whole brain, our whole body changes, our taste buds and our brain and our body and our everything. And this is what is happening to a lot of children, is that they're used to it. Like that's their first food sometimes, like apple puree is so sweet and yummy. And then, they like just, there's natural flavors in baby cereal and lots of different things. And that's what they're brought up with, and it's the same with MSG as well. It's hidden in so many different ingredients, like yeast extract is one of them. But, there's hundreds of different names for glutamate now. So the glutamate in MSG. So yeast extract is not MSG. It's not 621. But it is a form of glutamate, and a lot of other ingredients are forms of glutamate. So children are getting so used to this flavor enhancer. That's why they're not sitting there eating vegetables at dinner or a salad sandwich for lunch, because their taste buds are just not used to it. Their taste buds are going, this is foreign to me. Like vegetables are foreign to me. They're plain, they're bland, they have no flavor. I don't want them. So, I think we are raising a generation of sick kids and a generation of kids that just want sweet, sugary, flavor-enhanced, chemical-laden foods. Because, unfortunately, that's what is in the supermarket.
And I think that's where we always go, isn't it? To the supermarket to get our food.
We still shop in the supermarket. Like Tracy and I both shop in the supermarket. My dad is actually in the supermarket right now. And that's a true story. He really is. Because I had a podcast to do, and he goes, oh, well, I'll go and get some groceries. But it's a matter of just reading those ingredients. It's a matter of not buying one product and buying another one instead. And it really is a matter of just reading the label. Like, don't look at the front, don't look at the side, just go literally to the ingredients, because that is where the proof is. The other stuff is just a bunch of marketing.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say on that, you know, Irene, you brought up a point before about preservatives. So again, I can't go to the supermarket and buy preservative 202. Like, it's not an ingredient I can purchase myself. You know, these are things that companies are putting in there. So it is really, once you start looking at the ingredients listings, and, you know, I know Jamie Oliver, he sort of says if it's got more than 5 ingredients, you know, put it back. But I think 5's probably a little bit small sometimes, depending on what you're purchasing. Yeah. However, it's sort of the same. If you can buy tomato sauce and you pick up one bottle and it's got 15 ingredients, and you pick up another bottle and it's got 4, I know which one I'd be choosing. And, you know, even if it's about doing the best you can on any given day, and this is what we sort of say with our, you know, all the training that we offer, just do the best you can on any given day. And if that means that you just start and choose the ingredients listings that it's the smallest, even if you don't really understand what they all mean, at least it's got less ingredients than the other one, and you're probably still on a better, you know, you're choosing the best option on any given day. And then start looking for somewhere to educate yourself on these ingredients. And if there's things in there that you go, annatto, well, I can't go to the spice shelf and buy annatto, so should I really be eating this in there? And annatto.
But, you know, can I just say, with comparing what I can buy, if someone's not used to cooking from scratch, like I wouldn't use yeast extract, and I actually don't use many spices because of my sensitivity to my skin. So I actually wouldn't know if if you could buy yeast extract or not. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but you know, I to me, when I hear yeast, and I had a patient ask me about yeast flakes.
Oh yeah, they're good.
And I was like, oh, I don't know. She goes, can I have yeast flakes? And I'm like, well, what do you use it for? And she goes, oh, to just enhance flavour. And I was like, can I say no? I don't know what that is.
Yeast flakes are actually quite good for us. They're a really natural form, and they are great for people that are dairy intolerant or that can't have dairy, because they create a cheesy sort of taste. So yeah, they're like flakes. And then
are they made from yeast? Are they made from yeast?
No, they're made from I'd have to remind myself what they're actually made from. I have researched this before, but I do know that they're quite good.
Trouble, I think, because I don't have anything packaged. And patients ask me, can I have this or that? I usually, I don't really know what to say, because I don't use packaged food. So I think maybe if people are unsure, keep to things as, like you said, as simple as possible. And maybe the first thing to do, just go in the pantry when you have a bit of time and take everything out and read it. And then if you don't have any clarity on what you should do with it, then just Google perhaps, or go onto your website and have a look whether it's a preservative or if it's actual ingredient, because like I said, I wouldn't even know. And then take it from there. But you both have amazing resources for families, for parents that are wanting to change their food for their children. What can they do? Where would their first point of call be if they're going, you know what, I actually need someone to walk me through this process?
Yeah, well, we offer our program Additive Free Made Easy, and we will have a new round starting in January, or it'll be early 2018. We're not sure exactly on the date yet, but it'll be early 2018. So you can register your interest for that at additivefreemadeeasy.com.
Okay.
And or just get in contact with us at Sistermixin and we can forward you the link. And that's a program that we put together because Joe actually said to me one day, oh, I really wish there was somewhere I could have learned all this information. I spent so many years researching it and Googling it and figuring it out and, putting it all together for herself and her own story and journey and family. And I was like, well, maybe we should create something.
Yeah.
And so we created Additive Free Made Easy, and we've now had over nearly 2,000 families go through that program.
Amazing.
And it has been astounding. Like the stories and the feedback we hear daily just melts our heart. It makes us feel so proud of what we do and what we offer, and we just get thank you sent in all the time. You know, it's awesome. We absolutely love it and so proud of that program. So that's definitely a start, but of course that costs money to join. And, you know, we have a lot of free content on our website, a lot of free content. You know, we've got blogs on how to go to a birthday party and still have be additive free. We've got blogs on, you know, how to shop super simple swaps at the supermarket you can make, you know, and it might be something like just buy block cheese over grated cheese. You know, have you don't, but have you ever wondered anyone listening, what that powdered stuff is on grated cheese? Like it's an anti-caking agent to stop the cheese sticking together in its bag. It's something you don't need to be eating. And you just grate it yourself, people. It takes an extra 30 seconds, you know, like it's not hard.
You wouldn't have thought that just by having it chopped up versus in its whole form that would add something in there.
Yeah, it's got like a white powdery stuff on it. And everyone, when you know, you'll go, oh yeah, anyone listening that goes, oh yeah, I've never thought about what that white powder is. Like, don't eat it, you know, just grate some cheese, you know. So we've got super swaps, like there's heaps of things, heaps of free content on our website. So go check it all out. And we've recorded dozens of podcast shows as well. So you can find those as well, and we can put in all the links if you like.
Yeah, that's great, because I think, you know, you both have blown my mind. Yeast extract and grated cheese has stuff in it. I had no idea. I need to do this just for education myself and when I'm treating patients, because I didn't know any of this. So, you know, this is all valuable, even for health practitioners to know, because, you know, it's important to not necessarily go, you know, just don't have anything packaged, because then people feel tormented with, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to have? Just you know, kale and chicken, and don't know how to, I guess, integrate this process into their life. So that your course is fantastic for everyone, even people that don't eat packaged food, just for the pure insight into where it's you know, infiltrated our food in such a broad basis. It's incredible. I wouldn't have even thought they would have put something in that.
It's amazing. You know, a lot of people live a healthy lifestyle, like especially a lot of people that, you know, might follow a certain type of diet, like a low sugar diet or a paleo diet or a you know, keto diet or whatever. You know, you think you're doing you are doing an amazing job because you're one step ahead of like eating the fast food chain, but there's still so many hidden preservatives and additives in a lot of ingredients in healthy food. You know, dried fruit like dates, and a lot of dried fruit is one. You know, often they're packed full of sulfur dioxide. If we look at bacon or, you know, ham, you know, they're quite often packed full of nitrates, which aren't good for us. So, you know, there's so many hidden additives and preservatives in healthy food that is so easy to swap it up. Like once it just makes so much more sense when you know it. It's like, oh, okay, so I just need to get that one and not that one. You know, and it just makes it so easy when you actually know how.
And I think the repetition of doing it over and over then makes it more familiar, and then people lose the overwhelm and actually won't find it a difficult thing to do. It's just,
and it's really, it becomes the new, the new normal. It's just like, oh, so this is like the way we eat is normal to us now. I could never imagine in a million years going back to what is now normal in society, because eating chemicals is not normal. Like that, our body is not meant to be eating it. We're not made like that.
I know. And it's sorry, Tracy.
The other thing I was going to say was, you know, if you're a mother listening to this, and majority of every single person that's registered for our course so far in the 2000 has been women. So I'm going to say that mostly women are listening. But, you know, start educating your children and get them empowered and get them learning, because the quicker we can educate our children, and don't think teenagers is too late either. Mine are 17 and 15 and I still nag them constantly, because they need to understand. Because like Jo said at the start, we are raising a generation of sick kids, and there's every illness I can possibly imagine is on the rise, you know, from everything. So it is really important that our children start to understand that what is marketed to us is not normal food. It is just packaged food that someone has made in a factory.
Yeah.
And you know, you can't grow it yourself or purchase it yourself, then you shouldn't be eating it. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say was, and it's completely skipped out of my head now because I was talking.
That happens to me all the time.
we only have to look at a tuck shop and, you know, realise that, you know, food is not, unfortunately, food anymore. And the only people that can make a change is us. You know, at the end of the day, if we want to make a change, if we want to become more healthy, if we want our kids to become more healthy, the only people that can do that is the person looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because the government's not going to do it for us, and most certainly food companies are not going to do it for us. The only way they are going to do it for us is by money and by us not buying their product.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way. We're the ones that hold the empowerment here.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. You know, I feel so lucky to be able to hold that empowerment and hold that authority myself. I get to choose what goes in my mouth, you know.
That's incredible. I think any final words, because I think it's been great to take all that information and for everyone to sort of utilize it and head on over to your website and see what they can take away from what they have from the, you know, free resources. And then if they're wanting to really go through it and really dissect their life and understand what they need to do, then head on over to your course. Because, you know, you said it costs money. I don't necessarily, you know, when I was really sick, money, of course money matters, but when you're sick, there's nothing that matters in the world except your health. And I'm pretty sure it's not an exuberant amount of money. And I think to spend a little bit to gain that information and to put that value back into your health and your family's health is way cheaper than going down the doctors and the route of treatments, when you can just change things in your kitchen. You know, it all starts in your kitchen, and everything we eat has a chemical, a physiological response. Every ingredient, every little chemical we put in our body creates a physiological response, and it can be favorable or unfavorable. So to start from scratch and actually to look at the additives is a great way for anyone, whether they've got skin issues, autoimmune diseases, as you said, with illnesses on the rise. Autoimmune diseases are crazy. It's the body's attacking itself from these chemicals. You know, it's signaling the body to start attacking itself, which is that's a crisis. You know, the body's in a crisis. So to simply start with, let's just go additives and let's just go additive free and start looking at what we're doing. It's incredible the amount of impact you'll have on your health. So thank you so much, ladies. Sistermixin, they're doing their thing to change the world, and all came from Joe's daughter, and you know, from someone who suffered, you know, as a kid myself, and it's so tough. It was an absolute blessing that she experienced that, because she's helping other children that probably are suffering just as much as she was. So thank you so much for your work. Wholeheartedly, I'm so happy that you're doing it, because you know it needs to be done, and people relate to you because you're mums. You're not someone in a white jacket that's sitting across from them in a desk. You're saying, hey, we're living it, we've experienced it, and we just want to help you because we don't want you to go through what we went through. So thank you so much. And I'll be keeping an eye at what you're doing, because I definitely need to implement it in my clinic as well.
That's right. I just want to say one last quick little thing, if I can, if I've got time. Is we often hear the words, oh, well, we've eaten it our whole life, and, you know, those sorts of things. So food can't be that bad. We've eaten it. You know, I grew up on that sort of food. And I would really implore you to think really hard. Did you actually grow up on the food that you're now feeding your kids?
Yeah.
And just really think about that. And then think about also the illnesses in the classroom. So think about when you were a little girl or a little boy listening, you know, little child listening, and, you know, think around your classroom that you remember as a school kid, and then look at your children's classrooms now and think, Oh, yeah. And because I can guarantee you there will be dramatic difference of how many kids or how many kids that had asthma or allergic reactions or intolerances or diseases or illnesses and things from childhood, because I can't hardly remember any. I think there was a go with asthma. Every now and then you had someone with asthma.
Yeah.
But that was about it. And now I look at kids' classrooms and they're just chock-a-block full of all sorts of different things. And and then just think back to what food you actually ate, because I can guarantee it will be different.
And the other thing, it could be companies could have changed their ingredients, with new chemicals being manufactured in labs. They're going to change the ingredients. So you might have a brand that is, really bad. I don't want to mention any brands, but maybe 20 years ago they weren't that bad. Maybe authentically they did start with good intentions and kept their products quite good, but over time, becoming global, international transportation, we need longer shelf life, which means we need more ingredients to sustain these products so they don't ruin. So, even if you've always eaten that food, I'm pretty sure the recipe's changed over time.
Quite possibly, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I know you guys have got a busy day today, and I appreciate your time, as I said, and thank you so much. And I'll catch you in your online program at some point too.
Sounds great. We look forward to it. See ya.
Bye.